Welcome to the following presentation of Minor League Esports on the MLE Network.
Good afternoon, Rocket League fans. Welcome to Minor League Esports presented by APM Music. My name is Inanimate J. 2/3 of the regular season is done. We are down to the business end of things with just 20 games left to decide which teams will make it into the playoffs for MLE's historic season number 12. With me in the booth today, the one and only Leechy. Leechy, first things first, it's Master League, it's doubles, it's the Knights looking to secure top spot in the Forge division.
And it's the game mode that I love the most and that I'm decidedly the worst at. So I'm very glad that I get to look at it from a bird's eye view tonight. Knights versus Puffins. Yes, Knights looking to secure the Forge division. They're 5 games down compared to everybody else in their division, but they're sitting at the top based on win percentage. If they take this series tonight, that should solidify their top spot and just really get themselves in as good a position as possible as we inch closer and closer to playoffs.
Yeah, the Jets 2 games up on the Forge division lead right now, but the Knights with all 5 of these games ahead of us in hand. The Puffins, however, looking to make up some ground in the wildcard spot, currently sitting 9th overall in the Blue Conference, 26-24 record. They need at least a 4-1 out of this to have a hold on 7th place going into the final 3 weeks of the regular season, which feels like, for me, this one might be a chance for them to make things up. The Knights opting not to play Syrup today. It's Mike is my Ike and Alizai in for the Knights doubles team, facing off against Oates and Spanky for the Puffins. Both of the players for the Puffins sporting identical 12-3 records in doubles, Leechy. They might be what it takes to get the Puffins back within touching distance of the playoffs.
It's very true, but something to keep in mind is, yes, the Knights haven't necessarily chosen Syrup to play tonight, but everyone else on this Knights roster is still part of the roster that has gotten them this high in the standings. So yes, I do agree that this is probably the Puffins' best shot at some kind of a positive result here. However, the Knights are, they're as high up as they are for a reason, and it's not, one person does not a roster make. It is the depth, top to bottom, of these players that has gotten them as high up the standings as they have been. And we're about to see both these teams' play styles come to fruition as we hear the countdown starting right in front of us here.
5 games set, getting ready to start off here. The Puffins needing the majority of them to see themselves into the playoffs, but starting without possession here, Leechy, this might be the stream nerve settling in for everybody here. Not a lot of people get the really bad stream jitters, but I start to see it, especially with people that haven't been on an MLE stream in a while or ever.
It's definitely something to keep in mind. It's one of those situations where you never really think it's going to be a problem. You can have as much confidence as you want coming into the situation, and then all of a sudden you realize, like, oh God, I can't start this game until the match official tells me to, and you start shaking in your boots a little here, just like Spanky made Alizai did here on the defense. What a play.
They say the waiting is the hardest part, and that exactly rings true. There is Alizai having to wait as long as humanly possible to try and cut that one off from Spanky. Found the bottom corner, and the Puffins will start out early here.
Spanky and Oates playing on the side of the Puffins, going up against the aforementioned Mike is my Ike and Alizai on the Knights. Mike is my Ike sporting a fantastic-looking Dominus. Big fan of that. And Alizai rocking the Skyline. I haven't seen a lot of those lately. I do believe they have made an appearance in the shop yet again. Probably something to do with that Fast and Furious tie-in. But I care about Carball, so whatever makes these players play at their absolute highest level, that is all that I'm fussed about here. Ball not quite able to exit the Puffins half. Spanky trying to knock it off that side wall, but Mike is my Ike playing the roadblock here. Gets a Good back wall pass, and Alizai just kind of misjudges that jump. Oates with a shot preliminarily on target, but Knights standing up tall to stop it.
Like what the Puffins have done here, they withstood a little bit of pressure from the Knights. They haven't really bit on trying to dive in, even though the Knights are giving them the space to attack the ball. They're just kind of letting the Knights play that one out of the corner, letting them maybe make mistakes there as Mike gets a great touch in, but no pressure to follow that one up, and it won't really amount to any scoring chances for the Knights, which they're struggling to get right now. Still only one shot on goal for either team, but it just feels like the Puffins have had a little bit more presence when it comes to field position here.
A lot of presence in front of the Knights goal right now. Spanky couldn't get that final touch, though. Mike Ismayak sending it clear over to Oates. Great passing position, but opts to put it vaguely on target, not threatening enough, and Alizai at the near post is able to deal with it. Getting the bump there. Mike Ismayak on the rotation out. Spanky just kind of chasing the ball backwards. Not quite off the ceiling. Alizai is up super high. Mike Ismayak waiting for the drop and couldn't quite get that final shot on target as we cross the halfway mark in this game one.
Pretty typical of Mike Ismayak. Really likes to play a support role in twos. You see it with over 2 goals per game and over 2 saves per game as well. The type of player that you'll find on both ends of the field, but a lot of the offense comes from laying off of someone who's able to set up plays, to pull defenders out of position, to open up shooting angles for them to take advantage of. That's exactly what we see a lot out of when it comes to Mike Ismayak.
Mike Ismayak making good progress down that right side. Alizai turning a little bit too late. Now Oates trying to make an attack happen for the Puffins. Gets a half-decent flick. Spanky looking for the chip, but Alizai cuts it out, leaving Mike to chase this one. Gets boxed out of that. Love that aggressive play from Spanky. Oates coming in. Alizai opting for the fake challenge and uses it quite well. One to beat here with the flick opportunity. Doesn't get the cleanest of touches, and that chance goes begging. 90 seconds left here.
That's unfortunate. The Knights need a road back into this one. If that flick comes off, Mike Ismayak super well positioned coming in from halfway to try and take that play, take the rebound, and make something happen with it. Unfortunately, not enough contact from the first player in the offensive rotation. Still leaves the Knights chasing this game, still looking for something as they build out from their own end with about 1:10 to go.
Mike, what a touch, though. The demo of... it was Mike himself who got demoed. At that very last second, they managed to equalize.
Just got to this ball first. Oates had a read on it, didn't quite get the angle to chase the ball down effectively. A little touch off the nose of the Dominus, sometimes all you need. And the Knights get one kind of in transition after the demo into the top corner. And the Puffins, with not a lot of chances themselves so far, that one might hurt a little.
The Puffins, I think, should have thought themselves lucky to have survived with that 1-goal lead so early, or for so long, rather, throughout game one. Knights finally opting to bite back, show what they're made of. Now here, final 45 seconds, Alizai into the corner. 0 boost, though. We'll commit to this play. Actually, that was a wise decision, but not quite on target as Spanky will see this one clear now. Alizai's the only person back. Oates can't quite get the touch, and Alizai breathes a sigh of relief here as we get into the final 30 seconds.
Still dangerous, though. If the Puffins can get on this one, the pressure is still mounting. It's going back and forth, which is pushing the Knights out of boost. They both chase this down. Oates to Spanky inside the box makes it 2-1.
What a pass. What awareness of the positioning of the field. That was absolutely, or positioning of the teammate, rather, on the field. Spanky barely had to move. Just a simple flick up and over. 1-goal lead restored for the Puffins, and only 20 seconds left to hang on to this at this point. Mike Ismayak trying to scramble back. Spanky trying to put the hurt on, make it 3. Couldn't quite get the decent flick over. Oates will catch this. That's off the back wall. Alizai coming in on a great stop from Spanky. Sends it far and long. Mike Ismayak needs to keep it up. Can't quite get the control. Puffins, a well-deserved Game 1 victory.
The strong performance out of the Puffins. They had really good phases of play. They just couldn't generate a ton of chances, but the ones that they did generate, they were able to capitalize on, with the Knights chasing that ball down in their defensive end, finally managing to find the passing play into the open shooting lane right in front of the net. It's 2 great opportunities that they took advantage of Leachy to find them through. And I think if you're the Knights here, coming in essentially on paper as the favorite, now is the time to make adjustments here.
I will say Mike Ismayak was definitely fulfilling that role of the support person there that we saw throughout that entire series. Only 1 shot registered on target compared to 4 from Alizai, so Puffins very much have a target to go for as far as the Knights are concerned. But you could probably say the same thing for the Knights looking at the Puffins. Spanky had 3 shots registered. Oates didn't have a single one. Did manage to get an assist to his name, but not much going on there. So I fear that if both of these attacks become a little too one-sided in terms of which person is the one making these offensive contributions, I feel like they're just kind of asking to be shut down. It won't take too much critical thinking from one team or another to come up with a solution. You hope.
That's kind of what happens in twos a lot of the time, because when you demo a player, if you bump them, you put them out of rotation, there's not a lot of room for error when you're the team being disrupted. And I think that's where the Puffins, if they want to continue this momentum forward, they really need to look for those opportunities. If they lose the ball in the corner defensively against Alizai and find themselves coming back on rotation in midfield, look for that trailing bump, try to hit Mike before he's able to really get effectively into the play. For the Knights, the Puffins have been relatively structured, but they're also very quick to the ball. So trying to at least get to the boost first, trying to disrupt their ability to flow from play to play is probably what we're going to need to see to get them back into this one.
And that's also something that I personally have been considering as a player, is the effectiveness of boost starvation in the game of twos. I feel like it's a much more effective tactic, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm sure I am, but I feel like it's a much more effective tactic in threes because you've got 6 total players on the field compared to just 4. So in threes, the boost is just kind of naturally not as abundant compared to twos, so I feel like it's more work on the starving team to try and starve out their opponents in a game of twos because there's simply more boost on the field. So I feel like it's not necessarily, in my opinion, I don't know, a game plan to hang your hat on, like maybe every once in a while, but don't make it like a staple of the game plan in a 2v2 situation.
The one thing about that I find is that it really comes down to flow. If you can find a way to just make your pathing a bit more efficient than the opposition's when they're trying to find that boost, it really isn't a matter of trying to steal a lot, it's just trying to steal at the right times. Getting 100 just before someone else in the corner forces them to have to cover twice as much ground to find it, or opt to grab the pennies, which, when you're getting frequently rotated on in your defensive end, those pennies, despite respawning once every 3 to 4 seconds, just feel like they're almost never there, because to get them you have to pull yourself into spots that you might just not be able to react to the next sequence of play out of. And that really just comes down to how twos is. If you're not in position, defensively speaking, sometimes there's just nothing you can do, and it really puts a focus on players to be optimal with their positioning.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's see who is going to optimize their positioning better here as we get Game 2 underway. That is exactly how the Knights needed to start.
Textbook kickoff here, just gets the nose of the dominance in. Oates is on the cheat as well, but doesn't react to it in time because they got a little too close right off the kickoff. Mike reacts better, gets the flick inside and away from the Puffins defender. Quick lead for the Knights here to start Game 2.
Nearly 5 seconds in. Mike missing this carry. Oh, gets a decent 50 with Oates. Sends it into the corner. Knights with another breakaway attempt. Oates needs to be very careful with when he challenges. And that was pretty much the perfect result there. Still, dribbling it over. What a save there. Alizai still bouncing on the goal line, and Mike Ismail finally clears that one away. Nail biter there for the Knights, but now they have this counter-attacking opportunity. Can they make anything of it? No, the Puffins will clear this one away. Yet another sigh of relief this series.
It's unfortunate for Alizai, just running out of boost in the offensive corner before playing the ball. Had to grab the boost, but left the ball uncontested, which gave the Puffins a great chance to get that play clear. The Puffins, oh man, how much does that one hurt? Oates had a great air carry, still with a chance, but can't get the shot away as Mike gets a great respawn and outweights the attacker on that play. Those couple of chances for the Puffins there, those ones, if you get the same kind of chance creation as we saw in Game 1, Lishi, missing those chances hurts that much more.
Oh, that's another missed chance there. Mike Ismail barred down. He's going to want that one back. We'll retreat, allowing Oates to build up some offensive pressure. Great 50 as well, looking for the demo. but did not find any player there. Spanky with a pass out mid. Alizai can't quite get the touch, but Mike is my Ike. Be there to clean up. Oates over the top as Alizai turns. Sends it up. Not quite past that half-field line, or midfield line, rather. Mike is my Ike, 0 boost, but using the hitbox of that dominance to just kind of paddle it to relative safety. Great pass over by Oates, and then thwarts his teammate's own attempt. Painful for the Puffins as the Knights still hang on to this 1-goal lead.
I will say this, Mike is a longtime member of the MLE community. I'll come back to that one in a quick bit. Look at the patience by Mike. Waits for Spanky to bring that ball down, gets the flick onto the back of the dominance. That's where all that power comes from. Get the ball behind the fulcrum point of the hitbox, because as soon as that animation starts, you just lever that ball right towards the goal. It's a skill he picked up as a Batmobile main previously in a couple of MLE seasons gone by.
Big fan of that dominance hitbox, and that is probably the perfect advertisement for why it's so effective. Those lovely flicks. We're 2 minutes into this game 2, and a lot of 2s today. We got 2-0 lead for the Knights, looking to make it 3. Awkward catch, though, for Mike. Is that one straight in? It is. Puffins back within 1.
Big goal for the Puffins here. They just catch the Knights in an awkward spot. It hits the nose, like kind of on the roof part of the hitbox for the Dominus, and that ball just gets no momentum when it's kind of floating at you like that. Really needed to kind of jump into it to do any kind of disruption. It's unfortunate for the Knights. They had a lot of good pressure up to that point, and that's just a little cheeky goal to give back to the Puffins.
Not done yet. If Alizai can gather this ball up, Spanky actually, with an attempt, a great save across the face of goal by Mike. One was almost the equalizer. Past the halfway mark in game 2. Oates, pass off that back wall. Mike is my Ike, over to Oates. Another pass over to Spanky. Spanky very intelligently choosing not to challenge that one. Knew he was beat. Figured he'd have another bite at the cherry later on and just opts for safety there.
It's a good turn away. The Knights, despite looking like they were scrambling, were in a good spot to try and clear that one away, because that ball didn't have a ton of momentum on it, and there wasn't a lot of opportunity for the Knights to get velocity, but that is a great shot by Alizai. Watch the lineup on this shot. Just dips away from the challenge, knows that Oates is going to go straight for the boost, leaves that shooting lane wide open, front of the hitbox, right inside, and it's the 2-goal lead back as the Knights go up 3-1.
That is the kind of shooting accuracy that you see once and you know that you are in Master League. Now, I say that, and I have missed a fair share of open nets in my time, and I have the audacity to call myself a Master League player, but it is what it is, like I've said time and time again. That's why I'm up in the booth, not playing these games right now. Shot here, or at least a 50 attempt by Mike is my Ike. Not quite going well. Alizai having to retreat as Spanky looks to build a great flick to beat 1. Oh, looking for that cheeky catch attempt. Oh, no, what a shot. That was a great bump by Mike Ismayak, and the pressure finally gone by the Puffins. Oh, Mike putting that off target. You saw what he was going for, trying to speed the ball up just a little bit, because otherwise it was going to be a guaranteed save, but you do hate to see those ones every once in a while.
I don't mind that as badly, because it felt like the Puffins still had a chance to get back, even with the acceleration on that ball. They had a good line coming back to defend that one. So put the ball into the corner, make them spend a bit more boost chasing it down, and maybe you have a chance to build something up on a sustained offensive pressure here, as we're seeing the Knights do right now. The Puffins, despite that miss by the Knights on that breakaway, that ball hasn't crossed halfway till this point right here.
Mike, decent catch in the corner. Oh, and beats one with little effort there. Oh, off the crossbar. Dangerous for Alizai. Knew he was probably safe. Sending up that side wall. Good pinch from Oates, but leaves it wide open for Alizai if he can just control this. Sharp turn, looking for the double tap, and couldn't quite get the angle. It won't matter. They are still, in fact, 2 goals up as the final 20 seconds tick down in game 2. And honestly, Jay, I can't believe I'm saying this, because this is not the way that I expected this to go, but Knights having to fight back from being down in the series. Yes, it is only game 2. I don't want to be over dramatic, but I mean, Puffins are definitely putting up more of a fight than I expected them to.
They are, and I think the Knights haven't really settled into a rhythm. It just feels like there's a tiny bit of dissonance between the Knights players in the way that they're rotating. And I can't quite figure out what it is at this point, but it's a big performance by both of them together to get through this one, despite those little inconsistencies. The Puffins mounted shots on the net, Leachy. They had 9 opportunities, and it was 5 big saves by both players on the Knights combined that kept this one out of reach for them. And we get the sense, at least I get the sense, that if the Puffins can just keep that momentum up and get a little bit more luck, thinking back on that one play right early on where they go post and around on the goal line and the Knights still clear it away. If that goes in, we're talking about maybe a different complexion of game, because the psychology just changes up when you're back at 1-1 that quickly.
I think there's a lot to say for rotational organization here, and I want to point specifically to a set of numbers here that we saw on the scoreboard. Knights, 5 saves and 6 total shots. Puffins had 9 shots, 0 saves. To me, that indicates a team that might have a little bit of an issue overextending themselves on offense, and I don't really blame them because they had so many opportunities. You feel like if you just push that little extra bit more, it'll result in the goal. And time again, it didn't, which just led the Knights to this wide-open counterattack after soaking up the pressure for so long. I think if the Puffins are able to find their shooting boots a little bit earlier in this Game 3, and they're able to keep themselves organized and not overextend on offense, I think we're in for a different result.
I think both of the Puffins players need just a little bit more individual consistency with the ball. They have a lot of great individual skill. We saw that Oates with the air dribble to start this game and one earlier in Game 2. And I think that what has to happen out of that is just a little bit more retention of possession, because it seems like after that play happens, if there's nothing coming out of it, then they're scrambling back, because the Knights are really well positioned to pick that possession back up and force the Puffins to scramble back defensively.
Good 50 by Mike. A booming clear by Alizai will turn into goal number 1. You saw that happening about 10 seconds before the ball left Alizai's nose, but there's your goal first.
That's the danger when you're the second player, and Oates was the second player in this case. High aerial chance. It's a high aerial 50, which, again, it's a 50-50. It can go either way. And the danger of that as the second player, when you don't win that one, if your teammate's already ahead of you, you really need to get bailed out, and that's not what Spanky could do there, having just come off the backboard offensively.
60 seconds gone. Spanky off the sidewall, used all of his boost to get to it, so... Oh, a decent shot there from Oates. Risky, or okay, I'll stop short of saying risky, but definitely, at the very least, yes, there you go, thank you, much better. At the very least, force the Knights to have to do something, so you don't give them any room for creativity. It was either my way or the highway. It needed to be a save. Spanky looking for the doomsday and makes it work off the nose of the defender. Brilliant.
Oh boy. Alright, Spanky gets a good ball on this one. Mike is in a tough spot. Can't really get up high enough to cut that away. So Alizai has to come around to try and take that ball away before it crosses the plane of the goal. And that's unfortunately a really difficult thing to do when you're not already up on the backboard, because there's just so much space for a player coming off the backboard to make that play.
1-1 here. Spanky looking to make it 2. Oh, that shot. Probing shot, not quite on target, but did make the Knights scramble there on defense a little bit. Great pass over to Spanky. These are the passing plays that I love seeing. I'm not a huge fan of the whole, twos is just 2 1v1s happening at the same time, because the fact that you have a teammate to work off of, yes, it makes the passes riskier, because if you screw it up, there's nobody back to defend, but it makes it all the more sweet when they do eventually come out. It's a beautiful thing, and I hope that the Puffins can use that to their advantage to beat a Knights team that is looking to surge here. I will say they didn't quite come out of the gates as hot as they did in Game 2, but right now they seem to be going toe-to-toe with their opponents.
On the topic of passing in twos, it's almost like any other mechanic in the game. There's a time and a place and a reason for it. Yeah. And understanding the practical applications of that reasoning is its biggest strength. You can do a flip reset with 0 context, and it might be the most ridiculous play in the game because it doesn't serve you any good. But a well-timed, well-placed, and well-reasoned flip reset will often be the difference maker between scoring a goal or getting scored on.
Oates, that was a great catch. Looking to beat Alizai, but takes too long to turn on this. Mike, great pinch over to Alizai in the corner. Oh, it's a decent back post rotation to see this one clear. And Knights will have to build from the back. Good 50 for Spanky. Alizai gets an even better 50, sending it into the Puffins half. Alizai, great back wall pass. Mike Ismail will not be beaten to that. 2-1 to the Knights.
I love the technique on this play, realizing that the ball is going to roll, not bounce. Stays on the ground, just gets enough of it to keep it low on the back half, the vertical part of that baseboard. It's key to keep that ball low for their teammate on the passing play, and it's right there center for Mike Ismail on a dime. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Oh, very dangerous there. Spanky couldn't quite get it past Alizai. So close to equalizing. Mike Ismail looking for an audacious air dribble bump. Couldn't find the player in question there to make contact. Alizai dropping it out to his left side. Spanky, air dribble attempt over Mike Ismail, turning it into a double tap, drops it down. Oates, no, can't see it in. Puffins could not buy a goal in the last 30 seconds. It is the most cliched statement ever, but it rings true here.
That's heartbreaking if you're a Puffins fan right now, because that's the second individual play in 2 games that hasn't gone rewarded because of the post, because of the crossbar, because of a literal game of inches, and now an open net shot for Alizai from the parking lot 2 counties over on Forbidden Temple, and it's 3-1.
An absolute gut punch after the Puffins really just kind of worked their magic, and just when it came to that last few percentages of accuracy and ability to avoid the framework, or the woodwork rather, just didn't quite work out. And the Knights, I mean, they're good enough to punish almost immediately. And that's exactly what happened here. Although I say that, Oates, okay, pulling it back within 49 seconds left. There's still a shot here.
I thought that flip play to the backboard might have been a bit tough because the Knights were decently positioned to try and play that, and I think Alizai actually missing the read kind of froze Mike Ismail, let Oates get back to it, got a great shot. The technique off the side of that Fennec, really difficult to pull off, but when you get it right, it's so powerful and it's so difficult to react to in time.
Demo there on Spanky. Oates will catch it. Look to go solo. Alizai, simple save. Necessary one. Oh, gets dunked off that backboard. Spanky will, I believe, see this clear. Not a ton of boost to work with, and will get beaten to the ball. Waits patiently. Oates now. Good 50. Spanky out to midfield to try to meet it, but Mike Ismail was the quicker of the two. In the corner here, Puffins have 10 seconds to equalize. Spanky looking for the cheeky, we'll call it a musty flick pass. No, Mike Ismail dashing the hopes of the Puffins equalizing here in Game 3. Nice need to put it down. Puffins need to keep it up. So far, it is up in the air. Not quite over till the ball hits the ground. Spanky coming in. Won't quite get there in time. Game 3 goes to the Knights.
Spanky, unfortunately, not enough boost in the tank because that play was right there tantalizingly. The 50 was good, just unfortunately not enough to chase that down. As again, the game of missed opportunities, Leachy. 8 shots again for the Puffins. Again, not a ton of saves required out of the Knights on this one, but the woodwork getting credit for a lot of the takeaways on some really good looks for the Puffins, who just cannot find a way to get themselves a string of luck when they need to right now. And that's a difficult thing to swallow. You're down 2-1 in the series at this point. You've proven that you can beat the Knights in Game 1. And I wouldn't say that either team is playing particularly differently. It just happens that the ball's breaking a little bit differently at this point.
It's a bad day at the office when you double the shot output of your opponents and you still get beat painfully by 1 goal. So Puffins, I don't know. I gave my tips going into Game 3. Jay, you are smarter than I don't really know where else to go with this. I feel like Puffins they're so close to doing everything right. It's just on those all or nothing plays, the needle swings towards the nothing side, and then the Knights just get that counterattack. And even if the Puffins have had to fight for 2 goals and the Knights have had to fight for 2 goals, the Knights getting that third walk-in has been the difference in these past few games.
I definitely have to agree with that, and I think it's just going to come down to the Puffins getting themselves into a better spot in these transitional moments, when the Knights are about to recover possession and they have a chance to get it out, and the Puffins have a chance to keep that play alive. If they can keep that possession going, as Oates has a great shot here, bumped by Spanky on the back door, keeps the rotations of the Knights disrupted. Oates gets the first bump. Watch Spanky in the back corner of the replay. Takes Alizai out of the play. Oates gets a good turn and gets that in. That's the type of play that they need to keep up, because if they're not going to keep possession of the ball for continuous stretches of time, in those brief moments before the Knights get full control, when they've got one clear on deck, Leachy, taking that away and getting at least a sustained sequence of pressure is what they need. But Alizai, what a shot.
Oh, listen, we all love to gawk at the ridiculously skilled plays. A double jump is all it took to absolutely dust the Puffins defender. Oh, lordy, the Knights are back even with the Puffins. Oh, that one hurts. That one hurts. Spanky trying to carry this in the air all the way across the field. Does get a second tap. What? It's in! Puffins are back in the lead.
Actually managed to get both Knights players to commit. Mike doesn't come off the backboard, but doesn't really know where that ball's going, because Alizai had a line to that just a little low. Spanky gets over the top, and Mike, trying to recover off the backboard, can't get down in time to get velocity towards the ball, and it squeaks in.
All right, Puffins refusing to be down for long. That is a 2-goal lead for the Puffins. Jay, we could be seeing a bit of a revival here for the team in orange.
Alizai gets bumped, but it's not really a factor in that play. Mike Ismail just went up for that ball, spent a lot of boost, and never really put the ball anywhere. So off the kickoff, the Puffins circle in, they got on the loose ball, and put it into an open net.
Easy peasy. 3-1. Oh, Alizai trying to bring it back within 2. Fakes it low. Beautiful. Alizai, just banger after banger. Stop it, my friend.
Spanky's in such a difficult spot to defend this. Came out from the corner after grabbing the boost, trying to cut the angle down. The difficulty with that, you have to go straight to the ball. If you give that defender a chance to get a, or the attacker, excuse me, a chance to get a play, you're in such a tough spot, and it's a great fake to make it work.
Mamma mia. Mike is my Ike. Probing shot on target. Man, what a change. For the first 60 seconds here, we've already had a game's worth of goals. Let's see if either team feels like calling it quits here. Nope, they don't. Alizai out here scoring hat tricks.
Oates trying to get the bump in the corner, leaves Spanky again in a tough spot. Went up early on the jump. I like the attempt, just didn't have the angle right. Alizai had control of that, got it well around the arc of Spanky, trying to get there defensively. 3-3 game. Alizai 3, Puffins 3.
Man, I thought this was it for the Puffins as well. I feel like that was the first 2-goal lead we'd ever seen from them this series.
It was.
And it evaporated within, the course of 20, 30 seconds. So that's how good the Knights are. And, conversely, that's just how hard the Puffins are going to have to work to maintain any lead they get. Oh, are you kidding me? What a bump there, but not enough to keep Mike Ismail away from clearing that ball. Yeah, I mean, those are the kind of plays that you're going to need to resort to get the ball past the Knights. What a save there from Spanky. You need to get creative, because your grandma's Rocket League plays are they're not enough to beat a team this good.
I think the Puffins right now, it feels like Oates is trying what I call a little too much to make a play happen. These backtracking bumps, I talked about them coming into game 2, where you're looking to disrupt the defensive rotations of these teams. Is just the timing right now that Spanky's never really well positioned to take control of the opportunity after that disruption comes in, which leaves both Puffins players searching for something defensively, and that's a tough ask against a Knights team that is really quick in transition right now.
There's one. Oh, not quite about to start. Okay, Oates, time to redeem yourself. Get the flip reset. It did get it, but couldn't quite beat the defender. Spanky, second attempt here. Dribbling down, across the face of goal. Relatively simply cleared out by the Knights. As we get to this 2-minute mark here, Oates off the side wall. Simple shot, 0 boost, and Alizai will clear this across. Spanky, I will say the Puffins have done a really good job of keeping pressure in the Knights' half. Not the best of touches from Alizai. Will get a second one, though. The bounce will beat Oates, but won't beat Spanky. Minute 45 left on the clock. We are all tied up.
Mike is my stuck in a tough spot. That leaves Alizai alone on the baseline. Gets the savior to go with the hat trick, as it's a huge performance so far out of Alizai through the first 3.5 minutes. Spanky looking for the flip reset, trying to find a way through for the Puffins. Still more pressure from the team in orange here. Can't find the inside post as Oates, and it's again off the woodwork. Their 10th shot on goal, and nothing to show for it yet.
Spanky, what a smart play as well, delaying that one, but will now have to scramble back. Man, we just see more and more creativity from the Puffins, and it just doesn't work. Mike is my Ike with that side flip flick. Minute 8 seconds left. The Knights are ahead.
Needed a little bit more control out of that clear. Spanky loses that in a tough spot for Oates to try and close down. Has to challenge. Mike has control of the flick all day. Beats the lunge inside post. Knights respond to going down 2 goals early with 4 unanswered.
Mike is about to make it 5. No, Spanky rotates around quickly enough. 60 seconds. It's do or die for the Puffins here. They have been good enough to take the win from the Knights once, and they've needed to adapt to a team that honestly adapted pretty well to them. And they weren't able to, I guess, counter-adapt, maybe you might call it, quite as well as the Knights were able to make those plays. Oh, it's a pinch off that side wall, or back wall rather. Alizai searching for the 50 there. Low boost, having to retreat back. Oates. Oh, with the fake! With the fake! I thought it was going to be a pass, and so did the defender, but that is not what wound up happening.
Oh, what a great job catching that. Lines up for the pass. Mike bites. Actually, teammate bites too. Spanky flies in, and it just squeaks in. Back post. Finally a little bit going the Puffins' way as Oates gets them tied with 28 to go.
Oh, I love this game. Mike is Mike. Trying to come down on this one. Puffins have to be reinvigorated. It's wide open. 19 seconds left. Oates seemingly 2 fakes in a row.
This is such a hard ball to defend. Alizai has to respect that there's a touch coming. Just doesn't cover off the flight of the ball. Oates again with a big goal. The 10th shot of the game for Oates themselves. The 4th goal of the game as the Puffins 18 seconds and counting away from taking a second game.
Now Alizai at the near post will get beaten. Will that be 6 for Oates? Yes, it will. Dare I say it, Jay? Are we done with this game, or will we see a 9-second surge from the Knights? Methinks not.
Depends on the kickoff. I'm not going to say anything until we see the next kickoff.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. Alizai versus Spanky. Good kickoff from the Knights. Mike Isbayak needs to jump on this as quickly as possible. Alizai, open goal. There's 2 seconds left, Jay. What did we talk about? It's going to happen.
I told you, Leachy, I didn't want to say anything until I saw the kickoff. Knights are in with a shout. This kickoff determines whether or not the Puffins hang on after clawing back, or we go to OT on Utopia Coliseum.
Mike is my Ike versus Oates. This one's up the side. Whoa! Okay, anticlimactic. Boo. I'm not. That's a fake boo. Puffins take it to game 5. It's 2-2 in the series, Jay. That is the performance that they needed. Dear Lord, Oates, 11 shots. It outshot the entirety of the Knights team on his own. Much better showing from the Puffins. I wish they were able to clean up defense a little bit, but at the end of the day, if you score more goals than your opponent, you're going to win.
I mean, score goals, win game most of the time. Yeah. But again, the thing that really sticks for me for the Puffins is they've again almost outshot their opposition by a 2-1 margin. And again, we're talking about a game that was realistically a matter of inches of going in an opposite direction. Don't get me wrong, this was a standout performance from both of Alizai for the Knights and Oates for the Puffins. And if it wasn't for that little flurry late by the Puffins that got them back in, that got them 2 goals ahead, you and I might still be talking about this game ongoing, because it would have probably been 5-5 and going to OT.
Can you imagine? Okay. Oh, I want game 5 overtime, and I don't know who I want to win, but in the interest of neutrality, I will say, let the best team win. Throw 5 minutes up on that clock. Let's get game 5 kicked off, ladies and gentlemen. These have all been, I think every single game has been a 1-goal difference. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm hoping for the same here.
Game 2 was 3-1 for the Knights. That's the only exception.
Dang it, I was so confident. Fair enough. Oh, it's sending it long. You can be wrong, but as long as you're confidently wrong, right? It's you can mask it.
It's what you and I always tell new casters. It doesn't matter if you're wrong, just be convincing.
Yes.
And no one will know the difference.
Shake your fist a lot. Most people will agree. Oates. Good catch. With a flick chance here. Oh, looking for the air dribble, but Alizai took the exact right decision there, or exact right timing, rather, on the decision to jump for this one. Spanky off the back wall. Opting to catch. Very intelligent. Hanging on to possession there is what you were saying for a while, Jay, is that they needed to hang on to possession. Wow, that was a risky way to save the ball, but hey, the ball left their area at the end of it, so ends justify the means.
Doesn't matter how you get the ball away. Okay, it does matter, but it doesn't matter in the instant how you get the ball away, as long as it doesn't go in the net. It just looked... That one looked really scary from Oates' perspective that we got on the director camp. That one, you didn't really know if it was going to take that Season 1 bounce off the crossbar, off the underside, and in kind of thing.
Spanky. Patient. Okay. His patience is rewarded because only has one player to beat using the backboard, but Mike is my eye coming in with that read. Always tricky over the shoulder. Doesn't matter what level of ability you're at. Oates coming in. Oh, a great bump from the Knights. Now Mike is my eye has a clear opportunity to move this ball downfield. Knocks this out to Alizai. Great touch and even better stop, in my opinion, by Spanky. This is off of the corner wall. Mike is my eye coming in. And nothing really. 2 minutes gone by, Jay, and a bit of a drought in the scoring. It's something we've been spoiled, or rather, we've been spoiled earlier on in the series by a monsoon of goals, and nothing to show for it so far.
I get the sense that last game the Puffins were playing because they had to win. Now this game feels like both teams are playing to not lose, although that one by Mike is my eye. Oh, the shot just wasn't there for Spanky. Had to come from outside the ball, was maybe looking for a pass to Oates. And again, these teams really playing, it just feels like they don't want to lose. 4 shots for the Knights, 3 for the Puffins, 4 now for the Puffins. And they haven't really been that dangerous because neither team is really willing to risk everything for it.
Spanky. God, those solo air dribbles, they look so promising. And it's that final touch that has let them down so often. Spanky. Trying to make this one work. Decent 50. Out over to Oates, making Alizai rethink his approach here. A great decision there. What a solo play from Oates. The patience paid off in spades.
As soon as you see a defender go back in shadow, you have to make them make the first move. Make the defender make the first move. As soon as Alizai bites, Oates is around. Mike has to dive at that ball, can't get there. Bottom corner, as we've seen time and time again from Oates. 1:50 to go. Huge goal for the Puffins as they look to win Game 5. But that one, off the kickoff, right to Alizai, right back to square one. It's 1-1.
It was never going to last long, was it? It just, I think a bit of an overcommit there from the Puffins. Alizai had zero effort, or needed to apply zero effort to make that one work. Dear Lord. 1-1. 1:03 left. Alizai up. Spanky up faster. Mike, retreating. Probably the smart move. It wound up that he would have been first to the ball, given the whiff from the Puffins, but it's never something to bank on as your players, or your opponents rather, whiffing, especially at this level of Master League. It's never a guarantee.
Almost feels like the Game 5 nerves are starting to clutch in for the Puffins a bit. We've seen a couple of plays that you and I are both sitting there going, like, I'm not really sure about that one. The Knights, conversely, keeping their nerve. As we get down to the final 70 of Game 5, Lee, she's still tied here, and the Knights are all over the orange end of Manfield. They are throwing it at that net, forcing 5 saves out of the Puffins so far. Every one of the Knights' shots up to this point has been on target.
It's another one of these extended periods of Puffins pressure. Ball staying in the Knights' half. Spanky not releasing quite yet. still has the ball here, hovering above midfield. Mike is my eye. Not enough boost to follow this into the air. Dangerous touch by Oates. The double commit to get this clear. No, it won't leave them in a dangerous spot because they will get that crucial second touch. Spanky, decent shot. Alizai, decent save. Still dangerous. Finally cleared there. Alizai's chasing this down the right side of the pitch. Oh, couldn't control it there. Final 20 seconds. Mike is my Ike. Almost beaten. Oates. Ooh, very close. What a dunk there. Spanky slightly off target. 10 seconds now. Spanky. Pass off that side wall. Alizai will leave it to Mike is my Ike to clear. This one's going up the wall. Not quite. Alizai up high in the air. This is the last chance for the Knights. Looking for that second touch. Won't happen, Jay. We have our Game 5 overtime.
The last 30 seconds of that game felt like both teams pulled out all the stops. You ever watch a fight and you just see both fighters hear the bell for the final round and just start swinging haymakers at one another? That's what the last 30 seconds of this game has felt like. Both teams end-to-end on the chances. Both teams couldn't find it till there. Alizai off the backboard from Mike is my Ike will end it 3-2 in the Knights' favor.
Man, I wanted more. I wanted more. I wanted more. Only 14 seconds of overtime. Is what we saw there. But, I mean, still a very closely contested series between the Knights and the Puffins. Jay, you and I were talking before we go live. I was of the opinion that the Puffins should see, based on each of the Knights and the Puffins' individual positions in the rankings, the Puffins should see getting 2 games off the Knights as a major victory. They came so close to actually taking the series, but be that as it may, they were still able to get those 2 games off of the Knights. That was a fantastic performance. They will feel hard done by that they didn't quite get the entire series under their belt, but that's not, in my opinion, a performance to be ashamed of.
No, it was a good performance. It's disappointing to not get more, considering that you lose 1 game by 2 goals, 2 games by 1 goal. Those could have gone pretty much either way, and those ones hurt, especially when you're in third, trying to chase down the division lead, trying to chase your way back into the playoff fight, because even with 2 wins, it's still a decent amount of ground for the Puffins to cover. The good news is, everyone in their division is within touching distance after that 2-3. It's not the worst result in the world for them, and it's not it's just not the best. And I think they can at least come away from this one not necessarily happy, but at least content that they didn't put themselves with too much work to do in the business end of the season.
And I do think that also brings the Knights to the top of their division, but just barely by 1 game. They're now sitting at 33-22. 1 game over my dearly beloved Jets, 32 wins. So Knights looking real good for playoffs, looking really good for when the seeding decisions come around come the end of league play.
The one thing that really doesn't go their way is the fact that the wild card is an absolute cluster at this point. There's a very real chance that teams that finish second in their division just simply won't make the playoffs, even if they lose it by a single game, with how tight that top part of the Blue Conference is, especially with the Puffins winning a couple of games to keep them in touching distance. But enough about that one, Leachy. You and I need to head on to a break so we can get set for our next one. It's another doubles match. We're heading over to the Orange Conference this time. It's the Outlaws and the Flames. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Minor League Esports presented by APM Music. Stay with us.